Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Feral Brand Method podcast. Super excited to have you guys here. We're at the end of January and locking it in for February. So we're just trucking right along. So make sure you guys have your goals airtight. Don't fall off the wagon, guys. Okay? Do not do that. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have an action plan every single day. Just has to be 1 or 2 tasks a day. Doesn't have to be anything grand to get you to the bigger goal. Like I explained in all my previous episodes is I take a big goal and I break that goal into chunks. So every 90 days, I work on something different to get to that bigger goal. Because I don't do the whole New Year's resolution because people set too many goals and then they don't accomplish any of them. And I was one of those people. Like I'm like, oh, I'm going to work on these 4 or 5 goals. Yeah, I didn't accomplish shit and didn't do anything and fell off the wagon right away. So usually between February and March, people start to fall off the wagon. It's the same with like fitness. Me, fitness is a lifestyle. Like I've adopted it and I really just, took it serious. This is year number 3. But I've been on that fitness journey for the last 10 years where it was start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So, it's been a long time. And, with divorce and raising special needs kids, like you fall off the wagon and some things take priority. And I always say prioritize yourself first, self-care, all that, and never put yourself last. So make sure your goals are airtight. Every 90 days, I work on a different, like, quote unquote, mini goal. It's something that is tied into the bigger goal so that I can celebrate that accomplishment in December. Okay. So make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. I give you a lot of educational stuff, a lot of things that I'm doing. I'm launching my coaching program. We start next month. So if you've seen all the stuff around my launch, make sure you guys get on the wait list. I'm only taking 10 spots for this round as far as my program. So I'm only taking 10 spots for right now. It's a new program. So I am going to help 10 women who are ready to elevate their TikTok content, stop hiding, stop letting the inner child fucking run the show and ruining their brand so they can be a powerhouse when they show up on TikTok and in their videos. Okay. So it's 12 months and we do all the inner child work. I give you a good content roadmap and a strategy. I don't do content calendars because fuck that shit. Okay. I don't do that because that doesn't seem to work for me and it doesn't seem to work for other people because you fall off the wagon. So if you have good structure, you have good content pillars, and you have a bank of stuff that you just go ahead and do it, that you can pull stuff from, that's what's going to work for you. Okay. Content calendars, I don't believe in because people tend to fall off the wagon very quickly with that. So if you want to work with me, there is a link that you can go ahead and get on the wait list. And make sure you follow on TikTok because I give you all kinds of information on there as well. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about why healing belongs in your content and in your brand. Okay. I talk a lot about when it comes to inner child work and inner work because those are pieces that do resonate when you are a business owner, whether you are a mom, whether you have a 9-to-5, whether you are a stay-at-home mom, whatever the case is in what you do in life. Because inner child work and the inner work that you fail to not only start the healing process and heal certain wounds from or continue to do the inner work every day, it shows up in your everyday life, in your content, and in your business. Somebody else is not responsible for what you are responsible for healing. And I say that all the time because it's not somebody else's responsibility to heal your inner child wounds. It's your responsibility. And if you do not tackle that work and do that work every single day, it's just going to show up in all kinds of ugly ass forms until you deal with it. It will show up in all your relationships. It will show up in, how you raise your children. It will show up in just everything you do in your personal brand. So you have to own it and figure out why. So there's certain points that I'm going to talk about in this episode. So we're going to talk about emotional maturity in leadership, so in your brand. So we're going to talk about healing and entrepreneurship because those are very important things in your brand, okay? We're going to talk about sustainable brands and how to sustain it and not let the inner child run the fucking show. And we're going to talk about your nervous system capacity because that is an important piece when it comes to content creation as well, okay? So let's talk about emotional maturity in leadership, healing, in your personal brand, in your small business. Okay. So when it comes to emotional maturity, like how you lead your brand is how people are going to see you, how your visibility. Okay. So if you lead from an unhealed space where you're trauma dumping, you're doing this, nothing's going right. My boyfriend broke up with me. My husband is an asshole. I got heartbroken. I got dumped. I'm losing all this money. Nobody's buying from me. Listen, that stuff will resonate in your content and people won't see you as the leader in your brand. They will see you as somebody who's trauma dumping, won't want to work with you. So there are certain aspects of your healing that you have to get a grip on. So you have to go back to the root of the problem of why you're not visible in your TikTok content. Is it because, we're shamed as a child? You were judged, you were rejected, you were neglected. Is it that you had to be perfect? And that's how, you got rewarded. Is it because you were a people pleaser? You're trying to censor, water down your content and not piss people off because you don't want them to unfollow you and not buy from you? Is it that you overgive? You give people too much free shit. And then what happens is they don't want to go ahead and work with you because you're too expensive. Why? Because you're giving away too much free shit and too much educational shit that people should pay for. Okay. When you put time and energy and effort into things in creating educational content or doing things and you don't want to give all the pieces away, it's because it's of value and people need to pay for your time, because if you will get burnt out really quick just constantly giving away free shit. And then you're not making any money in your business and your brand, and then you're not able to scale it, right? So goes back to my point is that you have to deal with the inner child work and do the inner child healing so that when you create TikTok content, it comes from a healed, safe, emotionally mature space, because that's what people want to see. When you are in that space, you are fierce, you're bold, you're fiery, and people see your personality shine. And that's what people want to see in your personal brand, because they want to know who you are and what you're all about and how you help them. So healing is very important when it comes to having a personal brand. And you have to deal with the inner child wounds and get to the root on why this is happening, what triggers you, and how you can better understand and overcome it and better manage your triggers when this happens. So how do you do this? Lots of journaling. That does help. Therapy helps if that is relevant to you. Self-help books, meditation, fitness, listening, reading, going for a walk, listening to your favorite podcast, doing your favorite hobby, things that get you in a space where it's healing and you deal with that. Journaling is good. And doing shadow work is very good because you journal your thoughts. You say, okay, why do I feel this way? And how do you better manage those triggers that trigger you so that you know exactly how to handle it when things show up? Writing down your thoughts is super fucking important because it helps you a lot. And in one podcast episode, I did talk about the empty chair test. I will have a video specifically on my TikTok page explaining what that is and how to do that. It came from one of the self-help books I was reading. I went through a very difficult breakup in 2025. And that helped me get out all the feelings and everything that I wanted to say to this person. And it also just all the things that I needed to hear, not what they would say, what I needed to hear, so that I can move on to a more healed space. And that is one of the things that will help when it comes to inner child work and healing those inner child wounds. Because I see a lot of women with personal brands that you could tell their inner child's running their fucking brand because of the way they show up. They're not confident. They're not owning their power. I'm like, okay, where are you? Who are you? And you want to drag that out of them. And that's exactly what I do in my coaching program is I will drag that out of you so that you're confident and powerful so that you can make the money you want and it reflects in your TikTok content. Okay. Now, sustainable brands. Sustainable brands exist when you are in a safe emotional place when you create your content, where you deliver that content with confidence and authentically you, and you are a vulnerable, real person, not a fake ass influencer. Okay. Because people see through that shit. And you state the impact and a pain point and something that solves a problem in your brand that your leads and potential clients are looking for. And that resonates through your TikTok content. So an airtight roadmap is what is essential to make sure that you deliver that to your audience. A structured strategy is what is going to get your audience to resonate and make sure that you turn those leads into clients. Okay. So in order to keep your brand sustainable, you have to heal those inner child wounds that are running your brand, because she cannot run the show. Okay. She has to have a job, and she cannot come with you when it comes to doing the business aspect of your brand. And I see that a lot because you people please, you overgive, you do this, you do that, and you're afraid to show up, and then you're not visible. And then you have to start from scratch and warm up that audience again. Don't do that, because I did that. Okay. And then you say, oh, well, maybe let me try a different strategy. No, don't sabotage your brand and then try something else. You have to keep going. Even when you don't feel like it, keep going. Even when you say, I don't know what I'm talking about, you can get an idea on the fly watching a video or watching a post or something like that. Keep going. Okay. That's what I teach women with personal brands to do. Okay. Because if you keep doing that and being consistent, you're going to have a sustainable brand that you can scale at some point. And the last point that I'm going to talk about is nervous system capacity. Now, we can't be go, 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 go 24/7. Now, especially if, when women during their menstrual cycles and the luteal phase and all, the phases of your menstrual cycle, you're going to have like a week where you're on top of the world and your content is fucking fire. And then you're going to have those weeks where you're like, I don't feel like doing anything. And you have to structure your brand to fit into those pieces. For example, at the end of the month, I structure and I record all my content, do all my podcast episodes, all my videos, and this and that, because I know that at some point in the month, even though I have had a hysterectomy, I do not get periods anymore, but I still get all those hormones that circulate where I'm up and I'm down like I'm about to get a period. And it's very frustrating, especially when you're in perimenopause, because it is just awful. And, and I have like the week where I'm like, all right, I'm on fire. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And that's when you should make really good decisions in your brand and make decisions in your content when, you are on fire, you're a tip top, and you can actually structure your content around your menstrual cycle, if you can believe that. So I know I structure my content in a way where I know where I'm on fire and I need to get shit done, and making decisions on my content, that is the week to do it. And then everything is scheduled, because then on the weeks that I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I want to talk about, I don't feel like it, everything's already done. Okay. So your nervous system capacity, you have to find a balance on when you're going to create content, when you're going to record, and then when you're going to schedule that. Okay. So if you're a person that you do it on the fly, that works for you, great. If you're a person that you need to batch things, then do that. If you're a person where I'm like, okay, I need an entire week because I got to do X, Y, and Z, then you do that. If you're one person that you're like, hey, I don't know what I want to do, I just create content every day, then you do that. But you have to leave yourself room where you can decompress, and just just remove yourself from your brand, because you are a human being too. You might be a mother, you might be a spouse, you might have a significant other. You also have to take yourself out of, okay, I have to create, content for my brand. You have to kind of decompress your brain, because you don't want to experience burnout, because burnout is a real thing. Okay. So you have to pick a schedule and schedule it in your calendar on, okay, this is when I'm going to do my fire ass content and I'm going to get shit done, and then schedule all that stuff, because then it gives you more time and more freedom to really not only nurture and give yourself time and self-care, but then when you come back refreshed, you can elevate that brand even further. So make sure you apply to the Feral Brand Method program. The link is in the show notes, or grab the audio series if you're not ready for that yet. Everything is linked in the show notes. So make sure you follow along on TikTok and subscribe to the podcast. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode, and I will chat with you guys in the next episode.